Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to talk some interesting PC gaming related news. It looks like Square Enix and Final Fantasy as a whole may be pursuing more of a multi-platform strategy, as profits over at one Square Enix haven't been too strong. Now, there's a lot of way to dissect that information and how Final Fantasy as a whole has been doing, and obviously, actually not obvious to you guys on this channel, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sales numbers has actually been quite a big talking point amongst gamers, and, you know, you can assess it in a variety of different ways. It looks like Square Enix hasn't done very well from a profitability standpoint as far as some of their games go, and now they are noting that they are going to shift to more of a multi-platform strategy. Now, how that'll extend in the totality of gaming remains to be seen, but obviously, Square Enix from their major title standpoint has been very much doing exclusivity deals. Final Fantasy VII Remake, initially a PlayStation 5 exclusive, PlayStation 4 exclusive actually, then it was a PS5 exclusive, and then it was an EGS exclusive, and then it finally came out on Steam. Final Fantasy 16, still an exclusive to PlayStation 5, should be coming out on PC here shortly. Now, the question is, how much is Sony paying for these exclusivity agreements to get these games onto PlayStation 5 and be a timed exclusive? I don't know, and without that kind of information, I really can't assess if releasing these games on PC would be profitable for them or other platforms, because let's be real, releasing, let's say, a Final Fantasy VII Remake on Xbox, you're gonna get additional sales out of it, but I would imagine that Sony's paying you a pretty penny that probably mitigates the losses of not releasing that game on Xbox platforms. At least I would think. If Sony's out here only paying like a couple mil to get Final Fantasy 16 as an exclusive, and they're paying like $3 million to get FF7 Remake as an exclusive, Rebirth as an exclusive, then I'm just like, bro, what's going on here? But I imagine that they're paying like deep into the 8 figures. Like, that's what I would think, because if you were to think that if, let's say, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out the same day on PC as PlayStation 5, and let's just say the game would have sold an additional 1 million copies, well, at $70, an additional 1 million copies on PC would be $70 million of revenue. Now, not all of that is obviously profit. You have to spend money to port the game on PC, etc., but it's a significant amount of money, and you would have to think that Sony would have to be spending at least somewhat close, or even more. I would think even more, because you want to incentivize a publisher to release their game as an exclusive. Releasing a game as an exclusive offers absolutely nothing to the publisher. Maybe you can make an argument that it lets the development studio prioritize the development on one sole platform, but even still, like I just said, we're talking potentially $70 million of revenue. And FF7 Rebirth, if that came out on PC day one, I don't think 1 million copies being sold on PC is that big of a stretch. Now, that game in particular, and also with FF16, I think FF16 easily sells 1 million copies day one on PC if it came out side by side with the PlayStation 5 version of the game. Did Square Enix get $70 million from Sony, or somewhere close to that? Because I don't know how they are incentivized by focusing on development on just one platform. I don't know the ins and outs of game development like that, but it has to be a significant amount of money that Sony needs to be paying for these exclusivities, these timed exclusivity periods, and if they're not, if it is just, you know, 7 figures mid, 7 figures, that's not enough money in terms of lessening the sales on all of those other platforms. Hell, an FF7 Remake, I imagine if that game came out on Xbox, Microsoft would probably pay a pretty penny to get that game on Game Pass. Don't you guys think? That's just what I'm offering to you guys. I don't know the numbers that Sony is paying, but it's gotta be significant, and if nothing else, releasing these games on PC would be incredibly advantageous, but releasing the games on a 2-year delay or a 1-year delay and then still at a premium price point, like, look at that FF7 Remake Intergrade price point when it initially came out. It was $70 on Steam. I know it had like an introductory launch discount where it went down to like, I think it was like $49 and change, but it was like a year and a half after its initial release, or actually, I think it was over 2 years, yeah, because the initial release was March of 2020, then a year later, in June of 2021, the Intergrade release happened on PlayStation 5, 6 months after that, the EGS release happened, and then 6 months after that is where we finally got the Steam release. Over 2 years, and they're still releasing this game at $50, like, who's gonna buy that? Unless you're just the crazed fanatics like me. Most most people are not going to wait 2 years and still pay a premium. Now, if it was a case of the game releasing side by side, okay, now you're talking, and people would pay a premium for that. I imagine, again, Final Fantasy 16, if it came out the same day on PC as PlayStation 5, where the hype and anticipation of that game is at its absolute highest, it would sell at least 1 million copies, and that's probably a relatively conservative number. If we're talking FF16 selling 2 million copies within, let's say, a week of its PC release, that's $140 million of revenue. Steam takes their cut, whatever, but it's all digital sales. It's all just a significant amount of revenue that Sony better be paying a pretty penny to get these games as timed exclusives, because otherwise Square Enix is just cutting their feet from underneath them, and they are losing out on a ton of money. Because yes, you could be of the mindset, hey, we can get this exclusivity money from Sony right here, then we can release it on PC. Well, every month you wait, every year you wait, you're gonna lessen how excited people are gonna be. We all know that the excitement level for a game is at day 1 of release, or at the very least week 1 of release. After that, it's like a car being driven off the lot. The hype a lot of the times is gone. The anticipation a lot of the times is gone. And you could say that's a fault of the consumer getting, so caught up in the hype and the anticipation. Well, that's the reality of promotion, and that's the reality of the gaming world, that the hype is always gonna be there that first day, that first week. That's why I think it was such a misfire to not release Stellar Blade on PC day 1, but at the very least, Stellar Blade is a Sony-published game. That's an IP that I imagine that they own. Final Fantasy was always going to come out on other platforms at some point, and you're just taking this upfront money, which I think, if you had confidence in the game, and I would have confidence in a title like FF16, unless you're getting paid literally like $150 million by Sony for exclusivity, unless you're getting that kind of money, I can't imagine why it would be a good idea to release this game as a timed exclusive. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And what I've noticed in the gaming world, more people talking about that game, it's like that snowball effect. More people, if it's released on PC, more people are going to talk about it. More people are going to tell their friends about it, be like, hey, this game's on PC, it's getting promoted more, and the attention just spreads like wildfire, just like we saw with Helldivers 2. I don't believe that notion is just exclusive for live service and multiplayer games. Why can't that be true for a Final Fantasy 16? Why can't that be true for a game like Stellar Blade? It absolutely can be. I saw Stellar Blade have a lot of interest, but at the end of the day, only so many people have a PlayStation 5, and people, I don't care how good those virtual assets look like, people ain't running out to spend $400 or $500 on a PS5. Some people are just gonna stick to their PC, and you could have sold so many more copies of that game if it was available on PC, and it's an added leverage promotion that you don't pay for. You just essentially release this game on PC, and these days, it's just word of mouth doing promotion for you. I just think there's a lot of aspects that we don't know about, and I don't know how much Sony and PlayStation are paying for Final Fantasy exclusivity periods, but it's gotta be $100 million at bare minimum. If they're paying any less than $100 million for titles like FF16 to be exclusive, Square Enix is getting robbed. They're getting absolutely robbed. Because other than like $150 million for timed exclusivity, you're losing out on selling the game on PC, but you're also losing out on that added promotion and that social media just explosion that you would get by so many more people talking about the game. But that's my 2 cents. Maybe I'm out to lunch, maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I view it. And I think timed exclusivity is the worst thing in gaming. I just think it's absolutely whack. It's one thing where Sony published Stellar Blade, do whatever the hell you want with it. It's your own IP, but Square Enix taking some upfront money for a timed exclusivity period, I think is absolutely whack. It's absolutely lame. And they hopefully will start releasing their games day 1 on all platforms. By the time we get to Final Fantasy 17, hopefully it'll be on PC day 1, because I think it'll be advantageous for everyone involved. And PC gaming is just growing and growing. I think console players are sticking to console, but I feel like more and more people are coming to PC, and there's this haven of people that you can sell the game to, and I just feel like they're missing out by just taking that, what I'm sure is an attractive amount of money from Sony, but does it compensate for the amount of sales you're losing at? I don't know. I don't know those numbers, but that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, let me know there, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button, so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.